because the devil's trying to break me down.
Welcome to the suck.
Rated R. In theaters Friday, November 4th.
This just might be the perfect car. The Mercury Montego. How about up to 29 miles per gallon highway? Plus the highest 5-star safety rating and a best pick for safety, too. Roomy? It feels like you rented out a theater. Pack for a week? Or make that 2 weeks. The only car that can do all of this is this one, the Mercury Montego.
Now lease a Mercury Montego for $234 a month. You gotta put Mercury on your list.
It's my life.
Good evening. At 9:17 this morning, the future arrived years earlier than predicted. The future. What is it?
High-speed internet, faster downloads.
It's a video mail.
Digo, gracias, futuro, puedo detener la televisión vivo y
I mean, until the aliens get here, I'm happy with the, with the high def. The movies on demand.
There's the future, and then there's the future.
Well, which
and
one
this,
are we?
this is the future.
The future of television and internet is here. It's Comcastic.
MSNBC tomorrow. How fast could you lose a couple $100 million? Keith counts down to Wednesday's record Powerball drawing with some amazing stories of big lotto winners who became big losers. And you won't believe how easily it can happen. Countdown. MSNBC tomorrow at 8.
Welcome back. Well, as we've just been talking about today, one of the many questions regarding Harriet Miers has been answered, in part anyway. In a questionnaire Miers filled out while running for the Dallas City Council in 1989, she clearly indicated, or seemed to, that she's opposed to abortion, unless the mother's life was in danger. Some conservatives are not satisfied with that, but one who appears to be joins us now from Washington. He is Brad Blakeman. He's a former deputy assistant to President Bush. He shared an office with Harriet Miers for 3 years. Mr. Blakeman, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Tucker.
So what does this mean? Does this mean Harriet Miers is opposed to Roe versus Wade?
Not at all. I think that judges every day have to put aside their personal beliefs and rule on the law as given. In this case, with Harriet Miers as a justice of the Supreme Court, Harriet will be called upon to interpret the Constitution. You're supposed to set aside your personal feelings or values and rule as the Constitution dictates, and Harriet will do that.
Well, how does she feel about Roe versus Wade?
I don't know. I've never had a conversation with her, and as the president said, neither has he. And as Harriet has told the senators she's met with on the Hill, that nobody knows how I feel on that issue.
Well, how about other constitutional issues? We've been talking about this almost every day for the last couple of weeks. I've been kind of, a little harsh about Harriet Miers.
A little?
A little. And I feel that way. And I feel frustrated because I don't really know what she believes about anything. Constitutionally, can you give me a couple of her opinions on constitutional issues that might help our viewers understand who she is and what she might do if she's confirmed?
Well, Harriet Miers is the first to tell you she's not a constitutional lawyer. But our founding fathers put forth in the Constitution that if they thought that the smartest people on the planet were judges, then they would have set forth in the Constitution that, Mr. President, you have to pick from the judiciary. It's quite the contrary. Our founding fathers wanted a diverse Supreme Court. And Harriet Miers, if confirmed, will be the only justice of the Supreme Court as it presently exists that is not a judge.
And I don't have a problem with that.
You have to be a constitutional scholar in order to be a good judge.
I don't have a problem with that at all. Some of the smartest people I know didn't graduate from high school, including some people I'm related to. So look, that doesn't bother me. I think it's fair to ask, what are her opinions on the Constitution? I mean, don't you think that's a fair question?
I think it's a fair question, and I think Harriet Miers is going to answer those questions before the Senate. Okay. And both the Republicans and Democrats will have a crack at it. And quite frankly, Harriet Miers will rise and fall on her own testimony. And I submit to you that don't underestimate Harriet Miers. I worked with her for 3 years. She's able. She's competent.
I believe that. Well, sure.
She's affable, and she's going to do a great job.
She'll do better than people think. I don't think there's any question about that. Now, just a political question, quickly. This information that we got today, that she checked a box in '89 saying she was opposed to abortion except when the mother's life was at risk, this is the kind of information that would have made evangelical critics of the president feel a lot better had it come out 2 weeks ago, or 2.5 weeks ago, before her nomination was announced. Is the White House PR outreach operation so screwed up that nobody thought to send this to allies of the White House?
No, I think, Tucker, the president could have put forth Mother Teresa, and there were some on the far right who said, well, she's not really religious enough.
That's totally not true. You know that's not true.
No, it is true. The fact of the matter is, the far right
hold on, slow down, Brett. What do you mean the far right? What is with the name calling? Why is it every time you talk to someone from the White House, it's the far right, the sexist, the elitist? Why are you calling names? Why don't you make an argument that makes sense rather than calling people names?
No, you have to call it as you see it. Our critics come from the far right and the fringe of our party, and what they want is they think the Constitution should read with advice and consent of interest groups.
I think that's a totally unfair thing to say. I've asked you totally fair, direct questions about what this woman believes. That's a legitimate concern, and to marginalize my opinions or those of any of the fair,
I didn't single you out, Tucker. You don't like my answer. That's all.
I'm offended by your characterization of the critics of her nomination, because many of those critics, many of whom I know very well and have worked with and eaten dinner with, are not on the fringe of anything. They're totally mainstream, thoughtful, really smart people who have legitimate concerns. They're not name-calling.
Well, don't take it personally. All I'm saying is that the critics have said that the president should have sought more advice and consent of them. And quite frankly, had the president done that, those people would have deep-sixed the nomination of Harriet before the president had an opportunity to nominate her.
No, I think that's a good point. And some of those people whine a lot. I agree with you, too, and I understand the president's frustration with his allies because they always want everything to be perfect. I get it. I've seen it a million times. But you haven't answered my question that I just asked you, which is, what is it with this sexist, elitist, far-right stuff? Why attack people, A, who supports you politically pretty reliably, and B, who have legitimate concerns? That's like what the left does. That's an unfair, sleazy, and might I add, stupid tactic, because it doesn't address the real issue.
It is, and again, please don't take it personally. I'm not directing it
But it's not just you. It's the president's wife said it out loud. She accused him of being sexist.
Like the Democrats, we have a fringe to our party. You don't think that there's a fringe to the Republican Party?
I don't know. Maybe I'm on it. Tell me, who's on the Republican fringe?
The most severe critics of Harriet Miers, I'm not going to single anybody out.
Well, how about just single out a group? Give me a sense. Who's on the fringe?
Have unfairly attacked the president for exercising his constitutional responsibility. I think it's unfair. Many have called for her to resign. Outrageous.
Well, hold on. You may not agree with it.
Give her an opportunity to appear before the Senate and then have the Senate give her an up or down vote. Don't you think that's fair?
I think it's fair, but I also think it's completely fair for people who pay close attention to politics, who know, including some people who used to work at the White House, some of whom you know, David Frum, who was a speechwriter at the White House. I'm certain he's one of the people you're talking about. He's been one of the harshest.
David Frum was on the senior staff. David Frum was a speechwriter.
As I just said, he was a speechwriter at the White House. Are you saying that he's on the fringe of something? No, he's not. He's completely mainstream. He's a supporter of Bush. He voted for him. He's a supporter of the war in Iraq. Right? So I guess that's my point. When you don't have an argument, you attack your opponent by calling names.
No, I do have an argument. The argument is, let the process work as intended. The president has the right to send up his nominee to the advice and consent of the Senate, and not the advice and dissent of a Senate committee. She deserves a full vote of the Senate, and she also deserves the ability to sit in the witness chair and answer your tough questions and other people's questions.
And I hope the name calling will stop when she finally does. And just for the record, I haven't seen anybody contest the president's right to appoint someone to the Supreme Court to nominate somebody.
A lot of folks have called for her to step down. That's outrageous.
They don't like her. They don't like her. They think she's unqualified.
Fine.
David Brooks wrote a piece in the New York Times last week that reprinted columns she wrote for the Texas Bar Association that frankly were moronic. And I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm sure you read it. I think it's fair to read that and say, wow, is she qualified? It's not an attack on her personally. I'm sure she's a delightful person. But to read those, I think an honest person can say, boy, I have real concerns about her. Maybe she should step down. I think it's a fair conclusion to reach. But just my opinion. Anyway, Brad Blakeman, thanks a lot for coming on.
I
appreciate it. Still to come, President Bush finally plans to do something about illegal aliens, but will his plan backfire with business owners? We'll talk to one expert about that next.
Turn off the Ambilight function on your Philips flat TV, and it's like going back in time. The only flat TV with Ambilight from Philips. You'll never go back to ordinary TV.
Introducing Crest Sensitivity with Whitening Plus Scope. Finally, maximum strength sensitivity protection and scope freshness. Crest Sensitivity.
What tobacco issues are important to you?
The health effects. That's what I'm concerned about.
The fact is, there is no safe cigarette. Lights and ultralights are no exception. And to reduce the health effects of smoking, the best thing to do is to quit. At philipmorrisusa.com, you can find information from public health authorities on the dangers of smoking and links to help smokers who've decided to quit. Find out more. Visit philipmorrisusa.com.
Want to know a secret? Some otherwise intelligent people don't always eat right. That's why there's Delicious Ensure. Complete balanced nutrition, vitamins, minerals, food energy. If you don't eat right, eat smart. Ensure. Nutrition for a healthier you.
You challenged everything that came before you, and nothing looked or felt or sounded the same way again. That was you then. And the great thing is, that's still you now. We are the personal advisors of Ameriprise Financial, the next generation of American Express financial advisors. Because a generation as unique as this needs a new generation of personal financial planning.
Sons. The all-new 306 horsepower IS from Lexus.
Tomorrow is a high-level White House insider breaking ranks and helping prosecutors in the CIA leak scandal. Hardball with Chris Matthews. MSNBC tomorrow at 7.
Here's what the strategy's got to be. We've got to strengthen security along our borders to stop people from entering illegally. Secondly, we must improve our ability to find and apprehend illegal immigrants who've made it across the border.
That was President Bush speaking earlier today at the signing of a bill that would give the Department of Homeland Security more than $30 billion to help, among other things, protect this country's borders. When it comes to illegal immigration, the president finds it hard to please everyone or anyone sometimes. Businesses benefit from the cheap labor, but many red state residents are carrying guns and patrolling the borders to keep illegal aliens out. Here to talk about America's immigration policy is Benjamin Powell. He's an expert on the effect of immigration on the economy. He's an assistant professor of economics at San Jose State University in California. Mr. Powell, thanks for coming on.
All right, thanks for having me, Tucker. And relax, take a deep breath. I promise not to use the words far right.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I've just been upset about this for 2 weeks. I'm sorry, my frustration kind of came out. I can't stand name calling like that. And when I engage in it, I'll apologize. I really try not to. Anyway, thanks for doing this. Look, here, one of the things a lot of people, including me, have criticized the president for not being tough enough or not even taking seriously the question of illegal immigration. Here it seems like he really is listening to the call of his supporters and doing so. What's wrong with what he said today?
Yeah, I mean, at most, this can be considered a mild marginal improvement in immigration policy, but the thing has a lot of flaws, the proposal does, including there's a requirement on businesses that they have to create a labor search and prove to the Department of Labor that there's no U.S. worker for this job before they're allowed to hire any of the immigrant workers they want to bring in. But the consensus of the economics profession is already overwhelmingly that immigrant workers coming here don't have a negative effect on the wages or employment opportunities for Americans.
Well, how does that work? I mean, I've heard that argument, and a lot of my libertarian friends are completely for opening up the borders and just letting things happen naturally, as they say. But I don't understand. That just defies common sense. I mean, if there are people willing to work, hanging around outside Home Depot, saying, look, I'll work for you for far below the minimum wage, how doesn't that undercut the negotiating power of American low-wage workers?
Well, what you have when these workers come in, they also bring with them demands for other products just like anybody else who's here. So they create more employment opportunities for other people as well as substitute for them. And on net, they tend to complement American labor more than they actually take away from it.
What about, I mean, this is a point, and I don't mean this as like a low blow rhetorically, but I think it's a real question. Illegal aliens commit a lot of crimes, it turns out. Justice Department just did a big study of the 55,000 illegal immigrants now in state, federal, and local jails and prisons, and it turns out they committed 700,000 criminal offenses. These are non-citizens here illegally. That hurts America. Isn't it a good idea to try and find out where these people are and get them out?
Without a doubt, that's a cost. And when you can actually take criminals and remove them from society, we should be doing that. But even with that cost, we still find on net immigration to America benefits our economy, not takes away from it.
Benjamin Powell. I've heard a lot of smart people say exactly what you're saying. I still don't believe it, but I think I probably need to read deeper. I appreciate your coming on.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Still ahead in the situation, does your dog live a more comfortable life than you do? One of the foremost dog experts in the world said that is definitely not a good thing. He joins us next to explain why. Stay tuned.
Breaking news from NBC, video, local weather, and the best blogs. That's why MSNBC.com is the #1 news site on the web.
Beaverton Honda continues to be the only dealership in Oregon to take the guesswork completely out of buying a pre-owned car with our 6-month, 6,000-mile warranty and our 7-day right of exchange. And look at these values, like this '99 Honda Accord EX. It's the top of the line, moonroof, all the equipment, only $89.77, or this '01 Civic LX power windows, lock steering, $89.77. The October pre-owned sale is on at Beaverton Honda Used Cars. Come see us.
Right now, Oregon kids are becoming better readers thanks to the efforts of the Portland New Car Dealers Association. Through their partnership with Operation Outreach, your local new car dealers help get books to kids who don't have books at home. Teachers are getting supplemental training materials, and Oregon kids are getting a chance to succeed and excel. Feels good to know our kids benefit from the generous support of the Metro Portland New Car Dealers, Operation Outreach, and Comcast Cable, making a difference for Oregon's kids.
Free time to make up for billable time. Hyatt Gold Passport's faster free nights. Every 2 stays earns you a free night at Hyatt Hotels and Resorts worldwide when you pay through MasterCard now through November 30th.
Knowing that I had a job when I came back from being on active duty gave me a great peace of mind. I was away for 1 year and 4 months. Walmart was there to give me the financial stability, and we were able to acquire a home while I was on active duty. And it was something that we wanted to do for our family. Finally having a patch of dirt that was actually mine. It's congratulations, you have a home. I'm LC, and I've been with Walmart for 8 years.
Burning, itching, but the pain's the worst. I should have used
Preparation H Cream. Burning, itching, plus maximum strength pain relief on contact. The most complete relief from Preparation H. Pain relief on contact.
Soto and Partners.
McPhee & Associates. King Brokers.
Hello.
Hi.
Now with free incoming plans from Sprint Business, it's easier to say yes when customers call. And with our buy one, get one free deal, you and your company can say yes. Sprint Business gives you free incoming calls from all phones, all networks, all the time. So you can make just about any place a workplace. Call 877-63-SPRINT or visit a Sprint or Nextel store today. Sprint Business. Yes, you can.
Welcome back. There's an old Russian proverb, and I've got a million of them, that says, a mere friend will agree with you, but a real friend will argue. Joining me now, a real friend and a worthy adversary, a man we like to call the outsider. Please welcome ESPN Radio and HBO boxing host Max Kellerman.
Russian proverb. My people are from Russia, Tucker.
Is that true?
You're talking right to me. Ukraine.
But I'm the one with the proverbs.
Well,
irony? From Vegas, Max. Welcome. Well, first up, a novel approach to winning the war on drugs, surrender. And the suggestion comes from a cop, a former police chief. The man who headed Seattle's police department said he is now in favor of legalizing all drugs, from pot to meth to cocaine. The theory? We'd have fewer prisoners, safer communities, and only a modest increase in addiction. Now, Max, I have argued many, many times in public and definitely in private for drug decriminalization. I'm totally for it. Most people probably can handle drugs. For many people, drugs are fine. They're fun, whatever. They don't get caught up in them. The problem is, there is a small group of people for whom drugs are not fun, not fine. They really do destroy their lives. Some people can't handle drugs at all. They're terrible. They're a curse on our society. They kill people. They make children neglected. They cause people to murder each other. And drugs ought to be illegal, if only because we need a way to prosecute people and to save people from themselves who are using drugs and can't control themselves.
It was a great article from Norm Stamper, the former police chief in Seattle. I mean, a brilliant article. I encourage people to read it. Whether or not you agree with him, I'm not sure he convinced me all the way. He put forth a compelling case. The main distinction he made in this article was between treating it as a medical problem rather than a criminal problem. Because really, drugs are a medical problem. Now, if they become a criminal problem, you deal with it through the criminal justice system, just like you do with alcohol. Alcohol destroys lives. Alcohol leads to drunk driving and really vehicular manslaughter and things like that. And yet, it's legal and it's treated that way until it leads to criminal behavior. I think that's a compelling case.
Here's the other problem. It is sort of a compelling case. I think some drugs are more aggressive in the way they affect people's behavior than alcohol. Not marijuana, but others. Right. Here's the other problem with it. Legalizing narcotics would put government in the business of regulating narcotics. You'd have a federal agency telling you your crack had to be this pure, you know what I mean? And your meth couldn't be cut with this, and your heroin had to come from here. I don't want my government in the drug business.
Moreover, well, it's a little late for that.
Well, it is.
They're already in the drug business.
Well, they are in the drug. That's exactly. I don't want them any more in the drug business. And plus, it's depressing. I was totally for drug legalization until I spent some time in Amsterdam, and it's just ugly. Right, well, at a certain point, it's good for drugs to be underground, frankly.
We spend about $70 billion a year on the war on drugs. And if that 70 turns into a 20 or 30 because you legalize them, that's a big net gain, Tucker, even with all the government bureaucracy. And you're right to make the distinction. You legalize marijuana and drugs that don't have an extremely high correlation with criminal, especially violent behavior.
That's right.
But I did not buy his argument for crack or drugs that have such a high correlation with criminally violent behavior.
Or heroin. I mean, even crack, but heroin is a kind of pointless drug. I mean, you take it, it feels good, you get addicted to it. There's really no way to argue you're using it recreationally. I don't know. I'm against legalizing heroin.
You made a compelling case.
Call me radical. Okay. Our next controversy comes from the court, not the Supreme Court, the basketball court. The NBA has a new dress code that calls for players to wear business casual, whatever that is, when on team or league business. This from the sport that brought you Dennis Rodman. The rules don't address drag, but they do ban sleeveless shirts, bling, and even iPods in public. I'm against this, Max. You become a professional basketball player so you can wear whatever you want and put earrings in your nose and just live outside of society's rules. Moreover, if the NBA really wants to take a social stand here, they can tell these guys to marry the mothers of their kids. They ought to be getting on I'm serious, getting on these guys for having kids out of wedlock. That's a real problem. I'm serious.
You know what? You're right in a larger sense, but in a cultural sense. But if you look at what David Stern did, the commissioner of the NBA, brilliant in marketing that league, took it from a marginal league to a mainstream league by marketing individuals as stars.
Right.
Because sports, it's narrative, and you need a protagonist. You need someone to relate to root for in the narrative. And so Michael Jordan, can he overcome the obstacles? Brilliant. Vince McMahon did the same thing with the WWF or whatever they're calling it now. But Paul Tagliabue, the commissioner of the NFL, did an even better job because he made it about the team and something larger than the individual. What David Stern is doing now is combining the best of both worlds. He's allowing the individuals to remain individuals. He'll continue to market them that way.
As long as they wear uniforms.
But he's taking, look, the NBA, let's face it, is considered too urban to really appeal to mainstream America. And urban is code word for black. And the fact of the matter is, the black people in this country are a distinct minority in terms of the percentage of the population. And so if you can do things kind of superficially to package it in a way that middle America digests it better and consumes it better,
it can be bigger than the NFL. Tell me another. Every time I see a basketball game on TV, there are a bunch of actors, white, rich actors sitting in the front row, and the whole audience is white. I mean, no matter what these guys wear, people like them. I don't even...
At the game they are, because the tickets are very expensive, and there are more rich white people than rich black people in this country. But the fan base is really centered in urban areas and has not hit mainstream America to the extent that the NFL has. It just hasn't. You can look at the numbers. And this, I think, will go towards, will at least it'll be a move towards that without having to do something radical like suggesting that they actually marry the mothers of their children.
See, that's what I would like. But, you know, in the end, I'm not dumb enough to argue sports with Max Kellerman and pretend to win. I think you won that one. Max, thanks.
Thank you, Tucker. See you tomorrow.
Have a good time in Vegas. Still plenty more ahead tonight on The Situation. David Copperfield conceives a new trick. Wait till you hear what he's got up his sleeve. Plus, you've been served.
'Cause I gotta have faith.
Why even God isn't safe from nuisance suits these days. Then, it's off to Thailand, where the men are men and the buffalo are nervous.
Well, you'd never get anything like this in the UK.
And
Bad boys, what you gonna do?
The sad fate of one canine who refused to take a bite out of crime. It's all ahead on The Situation.
It's brilliant. It's really, really good fun.
Ingeniously designed to help protect the things that need protecting. Energy-absorbing ACE body structure, standard on the all-new Civic. Only from Honda.
Welcome. The rules in Finlandistan, Albaniastan are quite unique. I hope you had a chance to review them.
It's tennis. How different can it be?
It's not easy being out of your element, especially when it comes to insurance and investing. Genworth Financial and your financial professional can help you understand your choices and then make the right ones, so you'll be ready for whatever the future throws your way.
Send in the llamas!
Technology has made your morning easier. Why not your shave? The new Philips Norelco Smart Touch XL is designed to shave more with every touch, with 3 shaving rings in each shaving head. And because now it pivots to stay on your face and neck, even tricky hairs are cut. Make every stroke count. Philips Norelco.
Coming up, we'll explore the question that has dogged religious scholars for years. Is it possible to file a lawsuit against God? The answer is yes for one man. You'll meet him on the cutting room floor.
Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Sometimes just getting to retirement seems impossible. That's where we come in. As the nation's 401k leader, the Principal offers many simple ways to plan for retirement, making it easier for you to get where you're going. The Principal Financial Group will give you an edge.
Ford product engineers work hard. Anybody can see that. Since they need to be with the cars, we took out their desk phones and extended the workplace with Sprint Business. It's helping us shorten the time from concept to showroom, and it's easy to reach them. Dan?
Dan's gonna have to call you back.
By saying yes to working from anywhere, we're building more new products faster.
With Sprint Business, you can make just about any place a workplace. Yes, you can.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
Welcome back. Well, pampering dogs is a huge problem for dogs, apparently, though maybe not for dog owners. Our next guest says it's important to remember that dogs are not human. He's an expert on dog behavior and training. He's the author of an excellent new book, Cats on Dogs. John Katz joins us live from Boston tonight. John, thanks a lot for coming on.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So the instinct most people have, very much including me, is to feed the dogs from the table, treat them like slow but beloved children. That's bad for dogs?
Well, it's become a problem for dogs. People see them increasingly as kind of kids with fur or as human-like. They attribute all kinds of human thoughts and motives to them, and it's a problem. I mean, most dogs, only 3% of Americans train their dogs at all, and it's hard to train a dog when you think they're a kid.
Is it good? I think most Americans, like, middle-class people, hate telling the housekeeper what to do, right? I mean, famously.
Yeah,
I think a lot of Americans feel bad about training a dog or being too harsh with a dog. It seems so old-fashioned and kind of mean.
Well, there's a huge amount of guilt about dog ownership. People are afraid to leave dogs alone. They're worried about, I've heard people tell me they don't want to go to the movies, they don't want to go on vacation. Dogs are really very simple creatures. they're not as smart as a 3-year-old kid. And they're not aware of time. And, of course, they don't think. I mean, people are always telling me their dogs are angry about because we're going to work, or they're angry because they have a boyfriend. But dogs are not thinking at all. I mean, they don't have words. They don't have narrative. They don't know the difference between being home for half an hour and 3 hours.
What do they want?
I think they want food and they want attention. They like to go outside and sniff things. They like to roll in disgusting stuff. They want to have sex. They want to squabble with each other. Most of the things they want.
And you're saying they're not like people?
Well, they don't. I guess there's more similarities than I thought. I think what people are always doing is they're always telling you what their dogs are thinking.
Yeah.
And, of course, it's hard for them to kind of get that dogs really aren't thinking much of anything. I mean, if you ran in the inside of a dog's mind, it would probably look like a DVD or a video, sort of sensory video streaming. But they certainly don't have these human-like revenge motives, and they don't act out of spite, and they don't have guile, and they're not able to put together these scenarios about when you're leaving them and who you're with and how they want to get back at you by peeing on the floor.
You say that, but then you have this amazing story about your Border Collie, Orson. Border Collie is famously the smartest dog in the world, supposedly. How your dog learned to open your refrigerator while you were gone, take certain food items out, open the plastic container, consume the contents, and then hide the empty packages. My kids can't do that.
And you don't want your kids to do that.
No, we don't.
Of course, he wasn't doing it out of calculation. He was interested in food. He was a scholar of food, and he followed the movement of food. My lab is like that.
But then he hid the evidence. Isn't that evidence that he's brilliant?
I think it's evidence he just really wasn't that hungry. He wanted something to do. If you don't give Border Collies work, they will find work. He also liked to move my magazines from the downstairs to the upstairs. He didn't like where I kept them. But Border Collies just want to be busy. They want stuff to do.
That is so cool. The book, Cats on Dogs, A Common Sense Guide to Training and Living with Dogs. John Katz, truly an excellent book. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. I appreciate it very much.
Thanks. Coming up, Bill Clinton and the incredible screaming woman from last night's show have more in common than you may think. Don't worry, it's nothing like that. We'll make the connection when we check the situation voicemail. Next.
Looking for a simple dinner? Just follow a recipe on Campbell's Cream of Mushroom, like our tasty two-step chicken bake that's done in 30 minutes.
This is good, Mom.
This is good, Mom.
Just came to me. Come home to a home-cooked meal with Campbell's.
To keep this fella out of the doghouse, you need Bounty, the quicker picker-upper. Just one sheet absorbs faster, so it won't drip like this.
Bounty.
Between my two phone bills, it's probably about $60 a month.
About $150.
Probably $100 a month.
With Vonage, you get unlimited calls to anywhere in the U.S. and Canada, and all the cool features you could ever want are included. And it's just $24.99 a month. Call 1-800-972-4VON and get your first month free. This offer is also available online and at these fine retailers. Vonage, the #1 internet phone service.
We believe the line between on-road and off-road should be almost imperceptible. The luxury utility vehicles at Lexus of Portland.
Comcast is
Sports and Outdoor.
catch all the action of the NBA in the biggest games all season long on TNT. ESPN has all the game day news and excitement you need with College Game Day. And get behind-the-scenes access to the world of NASCAR with the Speed Channel's NASCAR Nation.
Whatever you're into.
It's on Comcast.
A dual-action tailgate and an industry-first lockable in-bed trunk. The Ridgeline from Honda.
Hey, that looked like my fish.
Next, the new Madonna production that has even her biggest fans begging for her to stick to music. Countdown, MSNBC, next.
MSNBC tomorrow. Gas prices on fire. Home heating through the roof. Who's really hitting your wallet with these record prices? And what's being done to keep fuel costs under control? Scarborough Country. MSNBC tomorrow at 10.
Welcome back. Time for our voicemail segment. Every night we hand out our phone number. Every night you have a few drinks and call us late at night. We're basically like your old girlfriend. We don't mind. First up.
Yeah, the situation where you got the core of family values. What a hell of a show. You got Max Kellerman defending drug use at every chance he can. He defends marijuana. You'd swear he'd want it legalized. Then you got Tucker, who tries to force a sperm donor who is performing a service. You guys are doing a great job. What other things could you come out and defend?
Well, there's so much here. Very quickly, did you see Max Kellerman defending legalized heroin tonight? If you thought that was offensive. But a sperm donor is performing a service? Does a sperm donor really do a lot of arduous work? I mean, get real. You know what I mean? Actually, I thought I was standing up for family values and saying, it's your child, support him. Next up.
Hi, Tucker. This is Bill from Illinois, and I was just calling to talk about your remarks you made about Bill Clinton, his reckless behavior. Well, there's thousands dying while George Bush is running the war over in Iraq. That, to me, is reckless behavior.
Yeah, well, I totally agree with you. Both presidents can be reckless. Just because one is reckless doesn't mean the other isn't. And Clinton was reckless at every turn, and I'm not going to bore you or agitate myself by going through all the many examples. Though if you want to write into our website, I'm certainly going to give them to you. But yeah, Clinton was an incredibly reckless president. And Bush was reckless to go to Iraq. But I don't think he's that reckless otherwise. Next up.
Oh my God, dude, you just had that chick screaming like a fool. That was hilarious.
Whoa. There's a man who's for marijuana legalization. Yeah, that was one of our all-time great segments. Last night, in case you missed the show, I think you can probably order a tape from NBC. We had a woman who coaches rock stars on how to scream. Really, top 10 all-time guest. All right, let me know what you're thinking. You can call 1-877-T-Carlson. That's 1-877-822-7576. You can also send your questions via our website. Email me at tucker@msnbc.com. I respond every day to anything you come up with, no matter how bizarre. And you've definitely tested the outer limits of that. To check out my responses, go to tucker.msnbc.com and you'll find them there. Still ahead of the situation, David Copperfield is one creepy illusionist. You won't believe the new standard of creepiness he's reached with his latest trick. We've got immaculate conception on the cutting room floor. Next.
Who protects communists is not fit to wear that uniform.
The nation's top critics are raving about Good Night and Good Luck.
Our next show is about Senator McCarthy.
Rolling Stone calls it an electrifying movie event. George Clooney triumphs.
Somebody's going to go down.
The New York Times says, see it now.
Are you and I a target?
The New York Post proclaims, by far this year's smartest American film.
Okay, fellas, here we go.
And Newsweek declares, one of the best movies of the year.
You will not walk in fear.
Good night, and good luck.
Rated PG. Now playing select cities.
Building the fastest car in its class doesn't mean leaving intelligence, beauty, and control behind. Introducing the all-new 306 horsepower IS from Lexus.
What if everyone just settled for average? What if nobody raised the bar? What if everyone decided to let someone else figure it out? By investing investing in Russia's oil and natural gas reserves, the world's second largest, ConocoPhillips is helping ensure global energy production for decades to come. Turning what-ifs into what's next is just another way we elevate.
At last, you can afford the floor you've always wanted. Lowe's announces our annual Floor It event. We're taking 20% off all special order rugs and wood floors, and 10% off all installed carpet. Get huge savings on Pergo and Swiftlock premium laminate flooring. Best of all, we guarantee installation on selected flooring. We'll even meet or beat any retailer's total install price. But hurry, Lowe's special Floor It event won't last forever.
Welcome back. Back by popular demand, which incidentally is really a euphemism for the threat of violence, Willie Geist and the cutting room
I'll
floor.
take it any way I can get it.
That's the spirit. Low standards, Willie. That's
Totally
the key.
low standards. You know what I love are those voicemails we get where they don't say anything.
They don't
just
say anything.
emote. They laugh, or when they called crying about the idea of Max Kellerman reproducing. Tears and
actually
laughter. We'll
crying.
take whatever you got.
We have a very loyal, impaired audience.
We do.
I love it. Thank you. Well, Spam is perhaps the most versatile food known to man. It can be prepared so many different ways. I prefer to eat it raw out of the can. Personally, that versatility was on display at the Texas State Fair today as contestants made their cases for the best Spam recipe. Spam quesadillas, Spam casseroles, and Spam pies, just a few of the culinary delights in the competition. The winner advances to the National Spam Recipe Finals. Held where, Willie?
I have no idea. I have to look that
American
up.
Samoa, I bet you.
Is that right?
They eat a lot of Spam out there.
But that's the headline to me right there. The winner, congratulations. Go home, enjoy this tonight, but don't lose sight of the goal, which is the national finals. There's a lot of work still ahead. And by the way, can I just say something?
More Spam on the horizon.
That's right. Buy stock in Spam. Mad cow, bird flu.
That's totally
huge
right.
market for fake meat.
Yeah, I was about to say, so you're implying that Spam is not actually meat.
No, I'm not implying it. It's a fact.
Well, Buster the German Shepherd simply was not cut out for police work, it turns out. The dog, who looks a lot like these American police canines, was relieved of his post at the South Yorkshire, England Police Department because of his complete lack of commitment to the job. Constable David Stevenson said, quote, Buster just showed no interest in doing the job. He had no fire in his belly. He's got a very low drive for finding people.
If you're a search dog and you don't like looking for people, it's probably time to get out of the business.
Well, you can come stay at my house. That's my kind of dog.
Right, be a pet, exactly. But by the way, where's the Fraternal Order of Police on this?
I agree
if
with
a
that.
human cop was fired for being lazy, there'd be a huge outcry. Dog discrimination.
They need a union, those dogs.
They do.
If you're a buffalo racing fan, and we assume you are, there may not be a better place on earth to take in a race than at the Buffalo Racing Festival in Chonburi, Thailand. Think of it as the Kentucky Derby of buffalo racing. Okay, you don't have to. The jockeys ride bareback and race on a 110-meter track. Some of them don't make it to the finish line, though. The winner gets $120 and some farm equipment.
Yeah, Tucker, buffalo racing is a lot of fun until you lose your nest egg on the trifecta somebody told you was a sure thing.
Looks like you can lose your nest eggs riding one.
And a couple of those did. Bareback. I don't recommend bareback buffalo riding.
Either.
Saddle up, partner.
In buffalo riding or anything else for that matter. That looks like one dangerous sport. And I have to say, they have weird sports around the world. This is just another example of American
elephant polo last
night. We actually got an email today saying, you claimed you knew the rules to polo. What are they?
Right.
That was a joke.
Right.
Well, a Romanian prisoner has set a new standard for litigious frivolity. He's suing God. Yes, God. The inmate says his baptism was a contract with God and that God let him down by not keeping him away from the devil. He's suing for, quote, cheating, concealment, and taking bribes. The man is serving a 20-year sentence for murder.
We wish him all the best with this. Although God's taking this seriously. He just hired Alan Dershowitz. You got to protect yourself, even if you're God. It's a cruel world out there.
There is no possibility God would hire Alan Dershowitz.
No.
Johnny Cochran, possibly. Even God can't stand Alan Dershowitz. Just too annoying.
No, this guy just moved ahead of the people who sue McDonald's for being fat on the worst lawsuits ever,
He
in my
actually
opinion.
sounds like he's not been taking his medication. Well, master illusionist David Copperfield dazzles us with his magic and frightens us with his creepiness. The next trick he's planning is heavy on the latter. As you can see in this dramatic reenactment performed by the situation players, Copperfield plans to impregnate a woman on stage without ever touching her. Like any good magician, he won't say how he's going to do it. He just says there won't be any sex. We can all be thankful for that.
Wow. You know what? God should sue him. Copperfield's ripping off his material.
That's exactly right. Talking about copyright infringement.
Immaculate Conception's an old trick, David. Nice try.
How's he going to do it?
I have no idea. As long as there's no sex, it's fine with me.
I can think of a couple different scenarios, all too vulgar. My question is, who'd want to watch that? Tom Moore.
I'd go. Vegas.
Would you really? Yeah.
For the right price.
We'll try it. Willie Geist. That's Situation for tonight. Up next, Countdown with Keith Olbermann. Thanks for watching. See you back here tomorrow night.
Which of these stories will you be talking about tomorrow? Veep Impact. CIA leaked Special Prosecutor Fitzgerald reportedly has a senior cooperating witness. And 2 more reports that Fitzgerald is looking specifically at Vice President Cheney. What would you do if one of your job applications was made public? Ask Harriet Myers. The questionnaire she filled out for the Senate Judiciary Committee is now out. Asked to describe the most significant legal activities you pursued, she began with, "I have been called to a deathbed to make sure the individual had a valid enforcement